What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I want to start this video by mentioning the fact that I've been a bit MIA recently, which obviously I'm sure you guys have noticed. There are a bunch of reasons for that. Suffice to say that life has a pretty firm grip over my attention, so I'm doing my best, and but I do still want to get you guys content, and so I'm making a video now. This video is going to be pretty short, but I do want to recap a little bit the past couple weeks. I actually totally forgot the Dolphins were playing today. I did actually get alerts and manage to watch the game, but I did totally forget that they were playing on Saturday. Obviously they did get their win, so I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the Patriots one as well, the win against the Patriots. So and just really quick and brief, just to kind of update and catch up to where we are now in reality at this point of the season. So last week, obviously the Dolphins got their win, 22-12 over the Patriots. Look, I mean, again, it was an expected win, because of the numerous different factors. The Patriots, a completely different team than they were last year, blah, blah, blah. Tom Brady not there, totally new defense with new players, plus injuries and COVID, etc., etc. They're having their struggles on offense, blah, blah, blah. It was expected to be a win. And I expected it to be a, relatively low scoring game, which it ended up being, with a Dolphins win, and it being pretty close, which it was. They won by 10 points, so 2 scores. I think I predicted something like 20. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but I think it was like 20-14, I think is what I said, something along those lines, or maybe 21-14, I don't know, whatever. But it ended up being pretty close. I know it was something like that, and it ended up being pretty close to that. So as expected, they did get their win. The Dolphins are not able to take the division anymore, though. That is been clinched for the Bills, and we do have our final game against them next week. We'll get to that in a minute. But so they can't win the division. They definitely can still make it to the playoffs. There's different scenarios. If they were to win against the Bills, then they're definitely in. If they were to lose against the Bills, then they have to have some other things go their way, depending on how the other games play out, etc., etc. So, the Dolphins, if they want to make it to the playoffs, they got to win against the Bills. The Bills are a tough team. They're going to be playing in Buffalo, and my first inclination is definitely that they'll lose that. However, it depends, right? Because, I mean, there's the unknown factors like, how does the ball bounce? How do penalties affect it? But also, there is some potential, that the Bills don't actually even play their starters, or a lot of them, right? They might want to rest their starters for the playoffs. So if the Dolphins are playing against, their second and third string players, well, then that increases their probability without question. I would still give the Bills a bit of an edge there, even still, because I really just think the Bills are a better team and a more complete team throughout, and also because of, Dolphins injuries, etc., etc. But it would give them an opportunity to win. And if they did win, then that would certainly guarantee that they make it into the playoffs. If they were to lose against the Bills, they would have to have some other things go their way. So, they did get their win against the Patriots, which obviously is good to see. And they did increase their win total to 9. And obviously after their win today, they're at 10 wins. So that's double what they got last season. So that's on its face absolutely progress. But as you guys know, I personally don't believe the Dolphins are as good as their 10-5 record. What are they? 10-6 or 10-5? Yeah, because they got one game left. 10-6, 16 games, blah, 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 if they were to lose, or 11-5 if they were to win. So, so I personally don't believe that, but that has a lot to do with the fact, of how COVID and injuries and so on and so forth have affected the season and the teams that they've played with, or played against, rather, etc., etc. But look, I mean, if we're being honest, right, you are, because of those things, because of those other factors, and also good play by the Dolphins, right? To keep it real, the Dolphins have had, especially on defense, flashes of the boom potential of this team and of their ceiling, right? Now, you have also seen some of the bust potential and some of the problems with this team throughout the season, but because of those other factors that have played a role into the outcome of this season and individual games, etc., the Dolphins certainly have taken advantage of that and have played well and, for the most part, been one of the healthier teams in the league and have, been able to propel themselves to a 10-win season, which is awesome, and that's great to see. I personally don't think that they are that good yet, but that obviously remains to be seen. Now, the way that you not really change my mind, yes, but that's not really what's important. The narrative is what's important, right? The overall narrative based on the reality. So the way that you dictate the narrative is to prove that you can do it again next year, right? So if the Dolphins are a 10-win team, right? And they're likely to make it to the playoffs. If they do make it to the playoffs, especially if they do beat the Bills and make it to 11 wins, the bar is going to be set exceptionally high next season. Well, any number of things can go wrong and they could regress. They could end up an 8-8 team or whatever, right? So they definitely have a long way to go, and they definitely have a lot left to prove, especially with, if I'm keeping it real, the performances of Tua, right? So, stepping into this game now, look, he hasn't been spectacular by any stretch of the imagination. He's been okay. He's been decent, and he's definitely shown flashes for sure. However, he's also on a regular basis made bad decisions and shown rookie mistakes, etc., and not being completely comfortable within the offense or reading defenses, etc. He's now been benched twice for performance, including this game against the Raiders, right? And let's be clear, Ryan Fitzpatrick was the one. If you're gonna give now, obviously it's a team effort. The entire team ended up winning the game, including the coaching staff, right? So you have to appropriately spread the credit across the entire team where it's deserved, and credit to Flores and the coaching staff for pulling Tua and putting Fitzpatrick in, because at the end of the day, he's got the savviness, he's got the experience, he's been there before, he's done this a million times, right? The commentary was talking about how Tua's, hesitant and tentative and stuff like that. Yeah, because he's a rookie and he doesn't know the entire playbook, etc. So, look, man, Tua was not performing. First of all, against the Patriots, the offense had a pretty bad day in the first half. They played better in the second half, and that helped them to get to the win. But against, statistically and based on record, kind of in the middle of the pack, but obviously not a particularly great team this year with that looks completely different, right? They lost coaches, players, and their entire defense is different. Brady's not there, Cam Newton is, etc., right? So they got their win, and as expected, but the offense, man, it's not there. It's not exciting. It's not. Now, part of that has to do with injuries, but again, I told you that the key for the Dolphins is going to be injuries. I don't think that if they do make it to the playoffs, I really just don't think that they're going past the first round. I just don't think that they're ready. I don't think that they're there yet. And look, Tua is getting so fucking lucky. So again, even in this game, there was one, maybe two plays where he should have gotten intercepted again, and the defender just couldn't, squeeze it or whatever. So, and I joked to myself, I'm like, are there like spikes in the ball that come out when, it senses the touch of anybody but a Dolphin, right? Like anybody outside of a Dolphins uniform, if they touch it, spikes come out, because these motherfuckers can't hold on to the ball. Now, to be fair, some of them were called back by penalty, but the dude is so fucking lucky. It's absurd. But anyway, he got benched in this game. Well, so hold on. I'm sorry. I know I jump around a lot. In the Patriots game, the offense played pretty terrible in the first half. They played a bit better in the second half, which helped them get to that win. And the defense played solid to really good overall, right? Again, same thing in this game. The defense played, good to, or solid to really good overall. They're still not like spectacular and superstar status. They have the one player, Xavier Howard, who is that. And that's why he's got 9 interceptions, because he's a baller. He's an elite player, right? But the rest of the defense definitely does leave a good amount to be desired as well, particularly in the run game, a bit in the pass rush game, although they definitely have had a step up from last year, although again that is partly due to the fact that the quality of opponent they've played with injuries, COVID, etc. Those are relevant factors to that. But yeah, the defense has been playing solid to very good the entire season, and the offense in this game, I mean, until Fitzpatrick came in, they were not very good at all. They just weren't playing well. And Tua, again, he had some moments, to be fair. He definitely had some moments, but again, bad decisions. A couple, at least one of them should have been picked off, if not 2, throughout the game. And look, even the coaching staff, by their actions, they can say whatever they want to the media. They're absolutely going to put him back in next week. I totally believe that. And I believe them when they say it, because they've proven that, right? It doesn't matter if they, feel like they need to bench him because he's not playing well. They're still going to put him in. But that proves not just that, but even like the play calling, the play designs, and the things that they give him the freedom to do and allow him to do tells me that they don't actually have the confidence in him to be the star that they expect him to be. Now, at least right now, right? Now, maybe, they do believe he'll get there eventually. I hope he'll get there eventually. But when they bench him like this, and when, pretty much every play they run is either a run play or like some kind of short pass play, well, they're not really showing a lot of confidence in their dude to, come in and fucking handle business and get the win and be that superstar and elevate the players around him and carry the team on his shoulders, right? If they really thought he was going to be that guy, they wouldn't have taken him out of the game tonight, because it's not like he wasn't playing particularly well, but he also wasn't playing particularly bad, right? Like, he didn't throw a bunch of interceptions and stuff like that. So, the offense wasn't really moving, and they definitely needed a spark, which Fitzpatrick gave them, and he was definitely the winner, or what allowed them to get the win. It was not Tua, but if they really believed in him, they would have left him in. They would have given him that opportunity to show that he can be the guy to fucking rally the team and bring him back and blah, blah, blah. But they're proving that they don't actually think he's that guy, at least right now, right? They very well may think he will be eventually, and I hope so too, but they're showing you that and there's, a pattern that has emerged since they put him in. First, they put him in under the most weird, strange circumstances, and by no means has he proven that it was the right decision. And even his touchdown to interception ratio doesn't really prove that if you actually look deep into it, and you see that he's made a ton of decisions that were terrible that actually should have ended up in picks. He should have way more interceptions than he does. He's just stupid lucky, or at least has been since he's come in. But then when, again, just to reiterate one more time, with the restrictions that he has, part of that is because he just doesn't know the playbook like Ryan Fitzpatrick does. So they can't call as much for him and so on and so forth. But he hasn't shown the prowess and the comfortability and so on and so forth. He's shown some flashes, but he's also shown enough that tells me, based off of the coaching staff's decisions, etc., that they don't really trust him to be the guy to fucking, in those clutch moments, deliver the game for them. Which is not a knock on him. He's just a rookie and doesn't know the entire playbook, etc. But it does, contradict some of the other things that they say about, oh, well, we just feel like he's the best dude for us, and he's the one that gives us the best chance to win. So why did you bench him twice? Because he played bad. Because you don't actually think that. You're just saying that because now, again, I can't verify this, but I think that Stephen Ross had said, a while back now, I want my dude in. After he went in, I think it was the Jets game, if I'm not mistaken, all this shit blends together at this point. But when he did finally go in, because they were blowing him out, right? When he did finally go in, I think the shiny toy glinted enough, even though he didn't do anything, that he was like, bro, I want him in, and that's it. And that's why, even though Fitzpatrick didn't get hurt, he wasn't playing bad, they started winning games, they just mysteriously did it. But then they'll turn around and bench their star player that they just have to have on the field, that they believe in so much. They benched him twice because he played poorly. That shows you, yeah, maybe we don't really think he's that guy, at least not right now. But we said he is, and we went fucking balls to the wall, and we're fucking talking out the side of our fucking necks, and we just can't fucking take him off the field, very much at least, because he's our shiny fucking toy, and blah, 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 and the fans love him, and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's stupid, but okay, fine, go ahead and do what you do. Anyway, so, at the end of the day, though, the Dolphins got wins the past couple weeks, and so that's good. We'll have to see how this next, game plays out. I think, again, I still think that, now, I thought that the Dolphins were going to lose this game. I did think it was going to be a relatively low-scoring game, which it was. A little bit higher scoring than I anticipated. I didn't make a preview video, but I think, what I was thinking was something like a 21-20 Raiders victory, like a 1-point loss, but it ended up being a 1-point victory for the Dolphins, 26-25. So that's good on them. To be full context, though, of course, they are having to deal with significant injuries, COVID issues, and they have throughout the season. Derek Carr was in this game, but he was clearly hampered by that groin injury that he suffered, just 9 days ago. And even still, he was on the verge of getting them the win. Now, I will say, to be fair, that pass interference that did set up the Raiders was pretty ticky-tack, and I thought would have been a better just no call, at the end of the day. So they did get kind of fucked there. After, Ryan Fitzpatrick had come in the game, given him that spark and started leading them to, a potential win. They did get kind of fucked there. But then they did luck out, because then the face mask penalty was completely legit. But the part that's at least in some part lucky is the fact that somehow Ryan Fitzpatrick managed to connect on that deep ball to Mac Hollins while getting his fucking head nearly ripped off because of the face mask penalty. Now, obviously, there's the big gainer, and then they added the 15 yards, which helped set them up. So there was some luck there, but I honestly don't think Tua would have been able to do that. Like, I don't think that he would have even attempted that throw. Ryan Fitzpatrick came in the game and started slinging it, because that's what he does, right? And I don't even think now, also, to be fair, the Raiders did basically have a blown coverage. They let a dude get, back into that fucking pocket, which, basically just gave Fitzpatrick a wide open window. And Tua would have had that window too, likely, if he was in the game. I just don't think that he would have taken the throw for, any number of reasons. But Ryan Fitzpatrick, again, he's been there, he's done that, he's got the experience, and he's got that mentality, so he did. And so, because of Ryan Fitzpatrick and taking that opportunity, then you add in a little bit of luck, being able to actually get it, somewhat in the area while nearly getting his head ripped off, and also Mac Hollins, a little bit of luck, and also the skill and the awareness to get it, into that open area and make a play on the ball. And also a little bit of luck because the Raiders just had a blown coverage, right? But anyway, so then, they get fucked, and then they come back and they're able to get that win because, Ryan Fitzpatrick did what the savvy veteran does, right? And so we'll see how it goes. I mean, Tua's expected to play, at least right now, against the Bills. Again, my initial instinct is that even with backups, my guess is that the Dolphins will still lose. Although if it's backups, it'll likely, my evaluation is that it'll be closer and maybe a little bit more low scoring than if the Bills, starting offense is on the field. Also, real quick, couple notable injuries. First of all, Shaq Lawson wasn't in this game. I think Eric Flowers was back, but Solomon Kindley was out. Jakeem Grant ended up out of the game. He got hurt during the game, so we'll see how that plays out. Devontae Parker was already out of the game going into it, so he didn't play at all. And then Landon Roberts got a knee injury and had to be carted off the field, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Anyway, so my base instinct is that they would lose to the Bills. It depends on if their starter, their chances will improve if they have backups in there as opposed to their starters. I honestly, if they play Josh Allen in their starting units, I really don't think that the Dolphins have a great chance. They do have a chance, but I don't think there's really a great chance, especially then if the Dolphins do decide to put Tua in. I just don't think he's ready. I don't think he knows enough of the playbook. I don't think he's comfortable enough in the NFL lifestyle, let alone having this completely fucked up and chaotic year to go along with it. I don't think he's ready for the kinds of shit that he's going to see from defenses, not to mention, his health, right? And he's even nursing some injuries, etc. So I just, there are a lot of unknowns still going into this game, and depending on those unknowns will determine whether or not the Dolphins can get a win. But they need a win for sure if they want to guarantee themselves a playoff spot. If they were to lose against the Bills, they have to have some other things go their way. But if they do manage to make it to the playoffs, which would be great, it would be awesome to see. Obviously, it would be their third time in the past 15 years. They did it 2008 and then 2016 with Gase, and then hopefully this year. But keeping it real, I don't think that they're going to win in the playoffs should they make it there. I just don't think that they're a 10-5 team as of right now. I don't think that they're that good as of right now. I think that they still have a very, very long way to go. And I think that there's plenty of evidence to show that. We've seen a ton of the boom potential of this team and have been spared, the catastrophic level bust potential, but we have seen some of the struggles that this team definitely has to overcome to get to the type of elite talent team and contender that they want to be, especially on a consistent basis. So, we'll see how this game goes. And if they do make it to the playoffs, we'll see if they can, surprise there and maybe win a game. Anyway, so again, we'll just have to wait and see how everything plays out. That's my take on it all. Sorry for kind of being MIA. Again, I'm doing my best. There's, I got a lot going on in my head, a lot going on in life, and I'm doing my best. But I do intend to, continue to the best of my ability giving you guys content, and at least at a bare minimum updating you guys on things and giving you guys my opinion on the games and the state of the team and so on and so forth. And hopefully I am wrong, and that they can show that this year is not going to be an aberration, that they are going to be able to build on it, that they are going to be able to continue in this direction, that Tua will be able to, eventually settle in and, come into his own, that the offensive line will improve, the running game, the defense will continue to improve and get to that level of dominance, etc., etc., right? So Hopefully all of that happens, but I do still have my concerns, and we obviously still have to wait and see how it plays out because neither has been determined yet. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspectives. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.